All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. In this video, we're going to talk about the ongoing drama with Gervonta Tank Davis, with Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s Mayweather Promotion CEO, pretty much exposing a lot of real funny stories coming out about Gervonta Tank Davis, specifically as it relates to that money. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the lightweight division, talking about one of the more fun subjects in boxing right now, in my opinion, which is Gervonta Tank Davis being the apple of the eye of a lot of lightweight fighters, and a lot of claims being made about what he does and does not have that have been refuted again by Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s CEO of Mayweather Promotions, Leonard Ellerbe. Before I get into that though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for coming and checking me out. I greatly appreciate it. Hey, if you wouldn't mind, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, definitely thank you for your support. Greatly appreciated. Make sure y'all go check us out. However, over there on Patreon, we have a lot of really good new extra footage over there that you guys might enjoy. So go check me out on Fanon Boxing at Patreon. Your support would be appreciated. So let's get into this, man. There's a lot of cap, and I'm going to say this word. I'm going to have as casual a conversation about this as I can, because it's a conversation that keeps coming up over there on Twitter. Leonard Ellerbe, if you don't follow Leonard Ellerbe, definitely follow Leonard Ellerbe on Twitter, has been responding to a lot of lightweight boxing fans who are repeating things about Gervonta Tank Davis that have been coming out of other camps. And specifically who that camp is Deviin the Dream Haney's camp, about Gervonta Davis, what Gervonta Davis has, what Gervonta Davis doesn't have, which to me, the entire conversation to me, it's funny, because anybody that believes that Gervonta Davis is not the central point of focus in that 135-pound division, and that Gervonta Davis is lying about what he's doing in his career, if you think Gervonta Davis is lying, then you should not believe any other boxer, any other fighter in boxing, and what they say that they are making, or what they're saying their status is, because there are very few people that can brag on the actual legitimate, verifiable accomplishments that Gervonta Davis has. And that is what Leonard Ellerbe said when he said, look, these fighters all know the truth about Gervonta Davis. That's why they all keep talking about fighting him. If Gervonta Davis was not making the money that Gervonta Davis was saying he was making, if all of these things that we say about Gervonta Davis and how he's a star and all of this, if those things were not true, then why is everybody in the division constantly trying to fight him? If you didn't think that the man was legitimately generating a ton of money in his fights, why do you want to fight him? Michel Rivera, and to extend his logic, Michel Rivera is a very good lightweight, undefeated lightweight prospect. I do believe they say that he's going to be fighting on the undercard. He may be fighting on the undercard of the Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius fight, October 15th. He's an undefeated lightweight from the Dominican. I think he's from the Dominican Republic, and nobody's asking to fight him. Why are they not asking to fight him? Because not a lot of people know who he is. He's not selling out stadiums. He's not doing a lot of pay-per-views. Nobody's really asking to fight him, right? Devin Haney has 4 belts, right? The only people that are really asking to fight Devin Haney is George Kambosos, who exercises rematch clause, and Vasily Lomachenko, who has his sights on undisputed. Other than that, nobody really at lightweight is really clamoring to fight him. And I do not believe that it's just because they don't think that they can beat him. They're not clamoring to fight him because there's really probably not that much money in it for him to fight him when you compare that to a fight with a fight with Gervonta Davis. But more importantly than that, all you got to do is just look at the fact that the man has a fight, that man's last fight was a $5 million gate. He does between $3 and $5 million gates every fight. His pay-per-views most definitely cost $79. And people are definitely buying those pay-per-views because people keep talking about the fight and what he did in the fight and how you had to have watched it some way, some shape, somehow. Now, of course, there are most definitely illegal streams, but at 250,000 pay-per-views being reported and they keep putting them on. I do believe this is his 4th pay-per-view. He's done 4 at this point in time. If his pay-per-views were flops, they would not continue to put those pay-per-views on. Now, also, people will say, well, what he's making in the fight doesn't necessarily, just because he's generating all that money, doesn't mean that he's actually getting paid that money. Why would you assume that he wasn't? If you're doing because there's a lot of people you do not know what their exact purses are unless those purses are put out. But if you have a guy that just re-signed with Floyd, and I don't know if he re-signed with Floyd or not. People keep saying he signed to Mayweather Promotions. I don't know if he's signed with Mayweather Promotions or not, or whether or not he's just with Al Haymon and he's still with the PBC, and Leonard Ellerbe is promoting him in his role as being, a partner with the PBC. Because I don't doubt, I have a hard for me to believe that Leonard Ellerbe and Floyd Mayweather Jr. are not actual partners in the PBC, because there was a lot of money invested in the PBC when it started. And they started it on the back of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and what Leonard and the promotions that Leonard Ellerbe was handling as the head of Mayweather Promotions, right? So I'm not sure whether or not there is a promotional cut coming out of Gervonta Davis's contract anymore. But he did say, I'm still with Mayweather Promotions, and other times he says, hey, I'm free to do. I don't know what any of that means. However, I'm not going to bet on this notion that people that do not sell large amounts of tickets, are not on pay-per-views, right? Whose fights do not generate a lot of interest, are in financially superior positions to people that do. That would be what you call a huge anomaly in the sport. And I have never even heard of anybody that is advised by Floyd Mayweather Jr., advised by Al Haymon, that has fallen into that situation. Their pitch has always been fighter first. And everybody else that has dealt with Al Haymon that says that they've been managed and dealt with Al Haymon talks about how well he pays. Like, that's his calling card. So why would you assume that when a fighter makes a bunch of money, specifically Gervonta Davis, that some set of rules would apply to him that didn't apply to the rest of the fighters that are dealing with Al Haymon, just because they have Floyd Mayweather Jr. sitting in between them? Also, I do not think that Floyd Mayweather Jr. really relies on Mayweather Promotions as being some real gigantic cash cow for him personally, to the point where he feels like he has to penny pinch and take advantage of fighters that are with him. Because truth be told, the guy is still out there probably making more than Gervonta Davis is making just fighting exhibition fights and whatever other sources of incomes he has. But, I agree, what Leonard Ellerbe is saying. Look, man, you guys are out there acting like what is not obvious is not obvious. And I personally think it should stop. And people should get credit for what they're doing. Fighters that are undisputed should get credit for being undisputed. Guys that bring in a lot of money should be credited with doing what they do and bringing in a lot of money and being very popular fighters. If the two fighters can make it up and they can get a fight, may the best man win. But acting as if, take, for example, Devin Haney, acting like he is not the undisputed champion of the world would be a disservice to him. But acting as if Gervonta Davis is not kind of a special fighter in certain regards, I think is a disservice to him. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comments section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.